Justin Fuente hopes his team can do the hokey pokey and turn itself around in 2019. Next on MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football. MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, breaking down the Hokies of Virginia Tech. And yes, I almost sang the hokey pokey. I almost sang it. I would have never gotten up to do the dance. Sorry. All right, let's break down the football team. And, of course, grab the Amazon link in the description section below to help us build the channel and provide for you the best in discussion, debate, and analysis of college football, the game we all love. For the hardcore college football fan, that would be you. And the smart fan, that would be you. And if you're not a smart college football fan, you keep it right here. There is hope. There is hope. That's why I'm here. Let's look at the Hokies. Their first losing season last year since 1992. 6-7 after the bowl loss to Cincinnati, 4-4 in the ACC. All right, this team over the past 4 seasons is 32-21, 18-14 in the ACC. Rather mundane. After Frank Beamer won that huge Sugar Bowl game against Texas, that was kind of the arrival of Virginia Tech football in 1995. They had been good for a couple of years. And then from 1995 until the mid to late 2000s, they were one of the 10 best programs in college football, roughly. Frank Beamer's last 5 or 6 teams were not so good. A lot of 7-6, 8-5 finishes. Justin Fuente took over, and they went right to the ACC championship game, and they gave that national championship Clemson team in 2016 a run in a one-score ACC championship game. But since then, especially this past season, so it's only been one down season, but got to consider the recruiting rankings have not been what they were, and just the feel around the program with the defections. This program lost more than just about anyone through the transfer portal, and players that were playing lost their starting running back and a wide receiver and quarterback in the transfer portal. Josh Jackson, we'll see at Maryland. All right, so again, Frank Beamer's last season, 7-6, 3-5 in the ACC. He actually got a bowl win, so good for him, and we saw him off in style. Then after that, they went to the ACC title game, as I mentioned, at 6-2, 10-4 overall. Then 2 years ago, Justin Fuente followed that up with another decent 9-4 season, 5-3 after the bowl loss to Oklahoma State. And then the downer last year, and then all the offseason issues the past 2 off seasons, whether that was 2 years ago with the legal problems and all the injuries and youth that we knew that they might struggle. We knew that they would struggle on defense. And they did. Despite only giving up 3 points to Florida State in the opener, we didn't realize that Florida State was that bad because we thought Virginia Tech might really be really good. But no, Willie Taggart and Florida State was awful. The recruiting, okay. The 2020 class right now is ranked 90th in the country and number 14 in the ACC. I don't think the wheels are coming off quite that bad. I don't think the reputation of Justin Fuente and the culture of the program has hit the skids that badly. But they better hope that they shave at least half of that number 90 ranking to about 45, and it needs to be better than that, of course, at Virginia Tech, and it has been. The 20 and 19 class that's going to be on the field, except for the kids that get redshirted, was number 3 in the ACC and number 26 in college football. The 2018 class, the sophomores this year, number 5 in the ACC, number 24 in the nation. The juniors from the 2017 class, number 26 in the nation, number 4 in the conference, and the seniors, number 8 in the ACC, number 42 in the nation. So Fuente looked like the hire. He did a great job at Memphis. He comes in. They immediately go to the ACC championship game, and he improves from 7-6 to 10-4. And I thought it was a great hire. I thought he was the guy to get. But right now they're flatlining. And the Beamer finish was only 29-23. So let's give Justin Fuente a bit of a break at his current 25-15. His 25-15 doesn't sound like Virginia Tech standards, but Beamer was only 29-23 to finish his career. The recruiting, again, has consistently been better than anyone in the division except Miami for sure, and maybe North Carolina. It's close. At number 42, 26, 24, and 26 in the nation. Number 8, 4, 5, and 3 in the ACC. Again, the defections were alarming at first, and then we saw kids in the transfer portal from just about everywhere in any school. So the accolades of negative proportions that hang around Justin Fuente's neck, meaning first team to not finish over 500. They almost didn't make a bowl game. They needed to win the last game of the season in a makeup game to finish at 6-6. But what was alarming about this team, not only losing to go 6-7, but losing big. Only one loss was under 20 points. They lost 7 games, and 6 of them they got blown out by 20 or more points. So Beamer's teams weren't winning games, but they weren't getting blown out generally. All right, let's look at the offense. Ryan Willis emerged after Josh Jackson got hurt and is the basic reason why Josh Jackson no longer resides in Blacksburg. Number 4, QBR in the ACC, 24 touchdowns, 9 picks. Again, Jackson got hurt in Game 3. Willis took over and played rather well. The wide receivers and tight ends are really good on this team, despite Eric Kuma leaving, who was one of the top pass catchers. Damon Hazelton had 51 receptions, 8 touchdowns. Trey Turner comes back after having a huge end to his freshman campaign with 16 catches in the last 5 games and 326 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's over 20 yards per catch. Dalton Keene at tight end's a really good player with 26 catches, 3 touchdowns, and watch out for the emergence of one. You got James Mitchell, who's a very talented newcomer at tight end. The running game at Virginia Tech has been marginal at best in recent years. And, of course, they lost the kid that went to Colorado a couple of years ago who gained 1,000 yards initially for them early in his career. Deshaun McClease coming off a 4.5 yards per carry average last year. Jalen Holston at 4.9. Those are marginal, to be kind, numbers in college football. Your number 1 running back on your team should average about 5.5 yards per carry. Travis Etienne, 8.1. Alabama back, 7 yards per carry. But if you're a decent team, if you're going to win 7, 8, 9 games, your number 1 back should average about 5.5 to 6 yards per carry. So those rushing averages are not good, which speaks to this. They finished 112th in the nation in third down distance. They were playing from behind the sticks constantly. They were 83rd in the nation in converting third downs. So when you think about it, even though they were only 83rd in the country in converting third downs, since the distance was 112th, the passing game with those good receivers, tight ends, and the quarterback Ryan Willis and 24 touchdowns out of him were able to make up the third and longs much of the time. They were number 39 in the nation in total offense. That's not bad. All right, backup quarterbacks behind Willis, even though he's pretty entrenched as the starter, although Justin Fuente has not officially announced him as the 2019 starter. Hendon Hooker, and you also have Quincy Patterson, who are 4-star talents at quarterback. So they got a deep but inexperienced quarterback room. The defense 2 years ago, in the 9-4 season, finished 7th in the nation, 9th in the nation, number 9 in the country in S&P Plus. Last year, 77th. They went all the way from 9th in the nation in defense in the advanced metrics to 77. They were 125th in giving up explosive plays. There were big plays all over the place on this defense. Even against the likes, of course, against Old Dominion, in which they gave up 42 points and lost by 2 touchdowns to the Monarchs. Bud Foster is still one of the best in the game. Great defensive coordinator, entering his 24th season in Blacksburg. And they've got tons of productivity back. But, man, this was the worst defense that Bud Foster has ever fielded by far. They gave up more points, more yardage than ever. Fewest sacks, least amount of interceptions ever by a Bud Foster team. And they pride themselves in turning the ball over against the likes of Pitt. They gave up 52 points and 14 yards per play. All right, the defensive line is still going to be thin this year. Hushan Gaines had 4.5 sacks. He tore his ACL, but he should be fine for the start of the season. He's pretty much the only production they've got coming back up front. The linebackers are good with Rashard Ashby had 105 tackles. Dax Hollifield is a really good player. He was highly touted coming out of high school. Good player. The defensive backfields, decent. Caleb Farley, Bryce Watts, they started as freshmen and sophomore. They got torched and torn to shreds at times, but they weathered the storm, and they'll be back in their starting positions next year, and maybe they've learned something. The safeties are good in Divine Diablo and Reggie Floyd. Good safety duo. The place kicker, Brian Johnson, only hit 3 of 9 plus 40 yards, so he was reliable inside 40, only 3 of 9 with distance. The schedule is easy, but they've got to go to Miami. And that could turn out to be the key in the entire division race. And if not, they got to go to Virginia as well. And the streak of keeping that win streak at 15 straight alive is going to be difficult. Virginia Tech opens at Boston College. That's a difficult assignment, opening ACC play to open the season. And they need to get off to a good start after floundering late last season and losing the bowl game and coming off a vibe that's not real positive right now around the program, considering the defections, considering finishing 6-7, and having to hear you're the first team since 1992 that has finished under 500 at Virginia Tech. I will have my prediction for Virginia Tech and the entire nation coming up in a few weeks, right before the season. We will do a extravaganza of predictions, believe me. Want your prediction on Virginia Tech football, your thoughts about the Hokies right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, and we will see you with another season preview coming up next.